So, as I'm sure many of you are well aware by now, Miyazaki recently went on and did 4 interviews talking about many of the new aspects of Elden Ring that we hadn't known about so far. And let me just say, some of these have me extremely excited. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down all the new gameplay changes that he dropped, and 2 of these sound absolutely crazy, and I am so excited to see what they're going to be like in the final game. Now, we're not going to get too deep into the story side of things that he revealed, I'll save that for another video. But as always guys, be sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all the latest Elden Ring news, and for some other cool Souls videos that I think you'll enjoy. Now let's get into it. So the first and major point that Miyazaki dropped is that Elden Ring is going to be a culmination of all the games they've had before this, and that's something we can clearly see throughout the trailer in the way the player moves and certain designs of the world and the enemies. So one aspect of this is that the player can now jump and sneak like in Sekiro. I'm fairly certain this implies that we're not going to be swimming like in Sekiro. I know there were some of y'all that really wanted that, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. He also noted that fall damage is going to be reduced, which is going to allow for a lot more risk in our exploration, and the overall theme of freedom is something that they wanted to imply heavily with the way the character can move and explore the world, which is exactly what I wanted out of this game. So this leads us to the combat now. From the way Miyazaki talked, it seems like combat is going to be much more fast-paced, and we're going to be in combat a lot longer than normal. Since we have so many new ways to move, it's going to feel a lot different than Dark Souls while still retaining that same core rhythm that we know and love. So to go along with this, he also noted that skills are going to be a big part of combat, and build variety. There's going to be over 100 new and unique skills to find across the world and buy from merchants and learn at bonfires and stuff like that. This is a way that they're trying to encourage exploration as much as possible, but listen to this. The skills are not going to be unique to certain weapons. From the way he talked, it seems like you're going to be able to use any skill on any weapon at any time. So we already have 3 confirmed skills that we can see in the trailer. The first is the dagger quick step, the second is the wolf greatsword flip, and the third is that kind of block and spin move that the character does when he's fighting that first multi-arm boss. But guys, this sounds crazy to me. So from the way it sounds, it seems like I'm going to be able to quick step with an ultra greatsword or do flips with like a scythe or something. I don't know, but this is definitely going to make PvP extremely interesting, which if you haven't heard is going to be making a return in Elden Ring with some notable changes. So Miyazaki said his goal with PvP in Elden Ring is to make it less annoying. He didn't specify if it's going to be less annoying for the invader or the host, but one of the changes he said they're making is adding a tracker for the invader to know where the host is at all times. So thankfully no more running around the Pontiff Sullivan area looking for the host for 45 minutes, only to die by falling off the map. Now unfortunately Miyazaki did confirm that we're not going to be able to ride our mount during PvP. So what that communicates to me is that PvP is probably going to be secluded to the other dungeon areas or the areas that are not tied to the open world. So I think invading is going to be a very familiar experience. Check out this next thing that Miyazaki announced. This one has me hyped. I cannot wait to use this one in the game. So if you watch the other breakdown videos that we did, I predicted that the cube and the summoning that we see in the trailer is going to be a new form of conjuration magic. Well, turns out that's correct, because Miyazaki announced that spirit summoning is going to be a new part of combat in Elden Ring. And what these spirits are summoned forms of enemies that you defeated in the past, or creatures that can be found across the world. Now these creatures and enemies are going to be ranging in different levels of combat efficiency, from ones that can really help you out in a tight situation, to others that simply look cute and are a fun partner to have along your journey. Now it sounds like these creatures can also be leveled up, and you'll be rewarded for using the same creature. Now guys, does this sound familiar to anybody? It seems like we're going to be having straight up Pokemon battles in Elden Ring. Now he did state that these spirits are going to be exclusive to certain zones in the world, since in the trailer we only saw them in the open field part, and we don't know for sure if they're going to be allowed in PvP or not. But I really hope they are, because I want to be having a fight club where everybody's just having Pokemon battles. That sounds like so much fun, and I cannot wait to do that. So it really seems like PvP is going to be the most expansive and fun that we've had so far. Now on the other side of the coin, let's take a look at what he said about co-op. Miyazaki stated that he wanted to make co-op more accessible in Elden Ring, and the way that he's going to do this is have designated areas where you can summon phantoms. So you're not going to have to go searching for a summon sign, rather you can go to a certain area of the map and see who's available to summon at what time. There's also going to be no requirement to summon, so you're not going to have to be human or embered anymore. This also leads to an interesting new change that they're adding to Elden Ring, known as groups, and this is going to be a lot like a clan system. It's sort of like password matchmaking, but on a much larger scale. So you now have the option to join a group, or think of it like a clan, that will make you only see summon signs, messages, bloodstains, and other elements in the world from people in your clan. Now I can can definitely see this being a new accessibility change to the game. I imagine there's going to be a lot of clans out there leaving like positive and helpful messages to guide newcomers to the Souls games throughout the world of Elden Ring. Obviously, this is not going to be a required element, and you're free to play the game as normal and see all those messages telling you to jump off a cliff. Another new and interesting change is that there's going to be items and materials throughout the world that you can use to craft things like healing items to aid you on your journey, since we're going to be in combat a lot longer. To me, it sounds like these materials are going to be used to make things like life gems or titanite shards to upgrade our weapons, which is something that I put in my wish list a long time ago and I'm excited about. I don't believe we got any confirmation about an Estus system that's going to be refilling at the bonfires, but the way they talked about these sounds like it's going to be the case. He also seemed to imply that bonfires are going to be a lot more sparse throughout the world, and we're going to be spending a lot more time between them. We are going to have a map of the open field part of the world, but not the dungeons and the main domains of the demigods, which, if you haven't heard, the world is going to be divided between an open field and the 6 main layers of the demigods. Now, these domains are going to be much more familiar to us Dark Souls players because they're going to be built in the same way that the areas in the past games were, and each domain is going to come with what's called a legacy dungeon. He didn't go into too much details about these, but he did say they're going to be interconnected a lot like the world of Dark Souls 1 was. And he also said that there's going to be a lot of dungeons and caves for us to explore in the open world part, so it doesn't sound like we're going to ever be at a loss of things to do in this world. There's also going to be a main hub area, but he said it's not going to be as central and accessible as it has been in past titles. And he also said that NPCs are going to be playing a much larger role in the story, even to a point of giving us alternate endings. These NPCs are going to be much more vital to the main plot, and give us a lot more insight into what's really going on. He stressed that they're going to be scattered throughout the world, so if we want to find them, we're going to have to do a lot of exploration. But those are pretty much all of the main points that Miyazaki stated in his interviews, and I cannot say enough how awesome this game sounds. If you watch my wishlist videos, then you can see that these literally ticked almost all of the boxes that I had. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be thinking that this sounds too good to be true, but honestly, I wouldn't want another team working on a game like this. I fully trust Miyazaki and From Software to deliver on all of their promises. But anyways guys, that's going to pretty much do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. If you're as excited for Elden Ring as I am, drop a like on the video, and be sure to be subscribed to the channel because we're about to go on another deep dive into the new lore aspects that he shared, and see which of our theories from the breakdowns turned out to be true and which ones were kind of debunked by this. I also have a massive announcement coming at 5,000 subscribers, so it seems like we're going to hit that pretty soon. But anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.